Hello. In this section I want to give you a brief overview of Z-spheres so that you have a foundation to start to work with them to build your own characters. First thing you have to do, draw it on the canvas. Go into Transform, activate Symmetry. I usually use X Symmetry, and you can see now on both sides of the Z-sphere I have these red dots. As I get closer, it turns green. I'm in Draw mode, and I want to draw one out of the top here and one out of the bottom. No matter what I make, I always start with one on top, one on bottom. About 90% of the problems you're going to encounter with Z-spheres have to do with not doing exactly what I just did. And then before I go further, I'm going to press A on the keyboard or go into Adaptive Skin and turn Preview on. And I'm going to make sure it looks like this. If it doesn't, then I'm going to fix it. But you have to have this as a foundation, otherwise you're going to have to start over. And then with Draw on, I'll draw out a shoulder, and then a wrist, a hip, and then an ankle, a neck, and then a head. Then I will go into Move, lower my draw size, drag these down, and up, and start to position this for a full character. Back into Draw, and I can draw more out. Switch to Move, pull that out, Draw, Move, pull those down. Then at the same time, while I'm in Move, let's just get the posture accurate. Okay, into Draw, and then I'm going to click on these linking spheres to add, and then that's going to give me a little bit more control, give me an elbow. But as time's gone on, I think about these less and less as though they are bones and more just geometry generators. So if I press A or Preview, turn Frame on, I want to get to the point where I've got fairly even amounts of geometry, but enough to sculpt. So this isn't quite enough yet, so I'm going to move that up and draw another one down there. And there. That's nice, even amount of polygons. I'm going to do the same for the leg. And while I'm at it, I'm just going to give it that little bit of gesture. And now notice how my Z-sphere is shot up into the corner. That's a bug. So to get around that, it's pretty simple. You just press Ctrl-Z, undo, and then you can frame the model again. And just pull these up. And let's give this the gesture that an arm is going to have, and pull these in as well. Okay, press A, and that's a really good start for us to be sculpting. And you'll see a little bit later an example of me taking a sculpt very much like this. So now a couple of other things to think about. One, there's really not that many polygons in the face, and this is for mesh generation, so you don't really want to add polygons after the fact. You want these polygon squares in the face to be at least as large as the ones in the arm and leg, if not smaller. Because more detail is going to go there. Also notice I'm just keeping these little blocky hands, and that's the way I'm going to work for almost all of my kind of maquette characters. If I need to get in and add fingers, that changes my process slightly. So let me show you how I do that really quickly. Draw, turn local on, and let's just press A. I want to get this rotating because this is going to be my thumb side, because I like to model with my hand, my character's palm out. So let's see if we can rotate this. I'm going to go into rotate. I'm going to try rotating further up here. Yes, that works just fine. So now we're going to go back into draw. We're going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice how I am drawing along that line. That's very important. Then I'm going to press Shift, draw out another, Shift, click, Shift, click, Shift, click, Shift, click. Shift, click will draw one out of the exact same size as the one below it. Okay, move those fingers down. See how my draw size is low, so I can get in there and I don't have to sweat affecting the other Z-spheres. Also notice my pinky is very large, so I'm going to switch to scale. And if I press Alt and click on the linking sphere, then I'll select that entire chain. And I want to move these down more. It's at this point that the bug is going to come up a lot more, so I'm a little surprised it hasn't. But if it does, remember just Control Z and you'll be good. Okay, now we press A and you get something that looks like this. You need to fix this. You cannot continue sculpting or work with this mesh in this condition. Thankfully, the fix is crazy simple. Go to iRes, so Tool, Adaptive Skin, iRes, set it to 3. That's the fix for making sure that the geometry is not intersecting itself. So there's a lot of information out there about what to do, how to do it, things like that. But this is the way. Alright, now I'm going to press A and I'm going to go into Move, and I'm just going to move some of these Z-spheres over so that the topology is flowing from the correct place and so that there is space between the index finger and the thumb. And now I'm not going to really use these Z-spheres to do any serious sculpting. That's not what they're for. What they're for is to give me a mesh. So you'll notice that I've got elephantitis of the hands, and that's going to be super simple for me to solve when I get to the sculpting phase. So let's just get there. We go to Tool, Adaptive Skin, Make Adaptive Skin, and then we select the Z-sphere that has the skin Z-sphere at the front of it. I'm going to go to the Move brush, increase my draw size, and show you how simple it is to fix those hands. Press Shift and Smooth. Shift and Smooth. Takes 15 seconds. And at this point now, we are really sculpting. So let's turn X on, and we just have to get in and start to adjust the shape to kind of work for what we want. Make sure the hip is well placed. Lost my symmetry there. Make sure the hip is well placed, make sure the overall structure is intact, and that we are beginning to model it from there. Also a good idea to pull the face out. But then also on top of that, there's one cool trick that I like to do for the face that I'll show you before we go. And that is that I like to add an edge loop for the front plate. So to do that, I'm going to go into Transform, turn Point Select on, and then I'm going to turn Lasso on and just isolate all of this area right here. Alright, now let's see if I can get rid of this. And then go into Geometry. I'm going to, let's just delete the lower, but I don't really want to make another selection here. So something I do really quick is go to Polygroups, Group Visible, and then I'm going to say Delete Lower. And the reason why I'm deleting lower is so that I can come in here and press Edge Loop. And now I have a front plate of the face that I can kind of pull out. So we can just pull this all out a bit. And the edge looping is really going to help me keep more detail in the face area And I just, I'm being lazy here. I go with the move brush and I just go back and forth and see how it starts to separate and shear. And that's just a lazy approach to getting this to getting this out there. And pull it back and forth. It's a little manual, but it works. Alright, and from this point on, we're ready to get sculpting.